Hello, esteemed gentlemen. Some men break when pressure hits, and then there's the one who becomes the pressure. That's the Sigma male, an enigma wrapped in silence, moving like a ghost through chaos, never loud, never desperate, but always dangerous. You won't find him whining in the group chat, posting motivational quotes on Instagram, or begging the universe for a sign. He is the sign. And here's the wild part. According to psychological studies on dominance hierarchies and social archetypes, Sigma males operate entirely outside the traditional alpha-beta spectrum. They're not climbing the social ladder. They're setting it on fire and building their own tower in the woods, alone, with a blade between their teeth. Probably sipping black coffee. No sugar, no hope. But there's something even more unnerving about them. They never give up. Why? That's the million-dollar question. Most people hit a wall and tap out. Sigma males hit the wall harder, then start asking how to turn the debris into a fortress. It's not motivation. It's not positive thinking. It's something much darker, much deeper, and infinitely more dangerous. In this video, we're diving straight into the unfiltered, unpretty, and brutally honest 20 reasons why Sigma males never give up. No cliches, no watered-down advice, just cold truths, raw psychology, and a touch of savage humor to keep your existential crisis at bay. Let's begin. Number 1. They never confuse motion with progress. Most people think they're making progress just because they're constantly moving. They hustle, they grind, they keep themselves busy from sunup to sundown. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Motion is not the same as progress. Sigma males understand this at their core. They don't confuse being active with actually advancing. That's why they never give up, because they're not blindly running in circles. Every step they take has a purpose, and if it doesn't, they don't take it. You'll never catch a Sigma drowning in productivity porn. They're not the ones downloading 12 new apps to organize their lives, or attending workshops to learn how to be better humans. That's fluff. That's movement without direction. Sigma males cut through that noise like a scalpel through tissue. If an action doesn't move the needle, mentally, financially, physically, spiritually, they drop it without hesitation. No guilt, no overthinking, just cold precision. Most people quit because they're exhausted, not because they've failed, but because they've been sprinting on a treadmill thinking it was a road. Constant motion drains you, especially when you don't see results. Sigma males avoid that trap completely. They don't care about looking busy. They care about impact. One sharp, deliberate move beats 100 frantic ones. They'd rather wait in silence, watching, calculating, than waste energy just to look like they're doing something. That kind of mental clarity is dangerous. It means they can outlast people not because they're stronger, but because they're more focused. While others burn out from chasing every shiny thing, Sigma males stick to what matters, refine it, and build quietly until it works. It's not always sexy, it's not glamorous, but it works. They don't give up because there's nothing to give up on. They were never chasing the illusion of progress. They were targeting the real thing from the start. That's the difference. That's why they're still standing when everyone else has collapsed from running in place. Sigma males are proof that a man with intention, focus, and brutal honesty about what actually matters can outlast anyone, even if he's moving slower, because he's moving forward. And that's the only direction that counts. Number 2, they run toward the fire, not away. Most people hit panic mode when things fall apart. They shut down, look for an exit, or start pointing fingers. Crisis reveals character, and for most, that character is terrified. But Sigma males? They run straight toward the fire, not because they enjoy pain or chaos, but because that's exactly where their mind switches on. When the world starts cracking, they don't panic. They focus. In crisis, the average person looks for comfort. Sigma males look for control, not over other people, but over themselves. When everything goes wrong, that's when they get calm. Almost unnervingly so. They're not loud, they're not barking orders or pretending to be brave. They're just moving, thinking, cutting through the smoke while others are choking on it. They don't romanticize hardship. They're just built to handle it. Their instincts don't say run. They say assess, adapt, attack. It's almost surgical. Where chaos paralyzes others, it awakens something raw in them. This isn't some Hollywood action hero nonsense. It's a deep mental rewiring. Years of solitude, self-reliance, and personal war stories have trained them to operate in darkness. They're not shocked when things fall apart. They expect it. That's why they don't freeze. Most people are addicted to comfort. Sigma males are addicted to growth. And they know the fastest growth happens in the worst moments. The storm isn't a threat to them. It's a challenge, a test. And they love tests, especially the brutal ones. The more pressure, the more they refine. The more pain, the more precise they become. It's not motivation, it's instinct. They don't run into the fire for attention or to prove something. They run in because that's where they find out what they're really made of. And while everyone else is screaming about how unfair life is, the Sigma male is already in the center of the wreckage, building something from the ashes. That's not bravery. That's design. That's why they don't give up. Because crisis doesn't break them. It activates them. Number 3, they're intimate with their demons. Most people run from their darkness. They try to bury it under fake smiles, distractions, or self-help mantras. But Sigma males, they do the exact opposite. They sit with their demons, look them in the eye. Get familiar with the parts of themselves that most people are too scared to even admit exist. That's not weakness, it's strategy. They know their anger, their fear, their obsessions, their guilt, not just on the surface, but deeply. They don't repress it or pretend to be pure. They understand that real strength isn't about being light all the time. It's about controlling the shadows instead of letting the shadows control you. And Sigma males have learned how to weaponize their darkness instead of being destroyed by it. This isn't about being edgy or brooding for attention. It's surgical. Most people are walking time bombs because they've spent their whole lives ignoring what's inside. Then, when pressure hits, all that repressed chaos erupts. But Sigma males don't explode. They've already mapped the terrain of their inner war zone. They've studied the terrain. They know where the traps are. So when things get ugly, they're not surprised. They're ready. And here's where it gets dangerous. That kind of self-knowledge makes them nearly impossible to break. You can't blackmail a man who's already confronted the worst parts of himself. You can't shame him, guilt-trip him, or manipulate him with fear. Because he's already had those battles in silence. He's already lost, bled, and come back sharper. This is what makes them terrifyingly persistent. They don't give up because their darkness isn't a weight. It's a weapon. When others spiral from self-doubt or internal chaos, the Sigma male just gets colder, more calculated, because he's already lived in those depths and survived. Now he owns them. That internal alliance between the light and the dark creates a different kind of resilience. Not fake confidence, not loud bravado, but a grounded, almost unnerving calm. That's what makes a Sigma male relentless. You're not just facing his will, you're facing every demon he's already made peace with. And trust me, they don't flinch. Number 4, they play the game of one more day. Sigma males don't overwhelm themselves with grand timelines or distant goals that stretch 10 years into the future. They don't fantasize about the finish line or obsess over how far there is to go. They keep it brutal and simple. Just survive one more day. That's the game. One more day of pushing, one more day of silence, one more day of discipline. It sounds almost too basic until you realize how lethal that mindset really is. While others burn themselves out trying to achieve everything at once, Sigma males chip away at the mountain inch by inch, quietly, relentlessly. They don't announce their progress, they don't need applause, and they don't seek motivation. They just endure. One more day of doing the hard thing, one more day of saying no to distraction, one more day of showing up when no one's watching. And this is where it gets savage. Most people quit, not because the goal is impossible, but because they convince themselves it's too far away. Sigma males sidestep that mental trap by shrinking the battlefield. They don't think in years or even months. They ask, can I go one more day without folding? And they do. Then they do it again, and again, and again until everyone else is gone. They win by attrition. They don't always move faster, but they always move longer. Most people sprint, exhaust themselves, and disappear. Sigma males walk with ice in their veins and steel in their steps. While others obsess over shortcuts and hacks, the Sigma focuses on consistency. Just one more day, every day. And here's the scary part. That kind of mindset builds monsters. Because after a year of one more day, they've built something no one else even saw coming. Quiet progress becomes unstoppable force. You look up one day, and they're 10 miles ahead, unshaken, undefeated, and untouchable. Not because they were the best when they started, but because they refused to stop. That's why they don't give up. Quitting doesn't even make sense to them. Because all they're ever trying to do is survive today. And by the time you've collapsed, they're already on to the next. Number 5. They understand the power of obsession. Sigma males don't chase balance. They reject it. The idea of doing a little bit of everything, keeping all plates spinning, and maintaining some perfect harmony, that's noise. While the world praises moderation, they go the other direction entirely. They surrender to obsession, fully, and obsession doesn't allow half-effort, distractions, or backdoors. Once it grips them, it owns them, and they let it. This is what separates them from the average guy who kinda wants it. Sigma males don't kinda want anything. When they lock onto a goal, it becomes their entire mental ecosystem. It eats their thoughts. It shapes their habits. It dictates how they spend every hour. And they're fine with that, because they've realized something most people don't. Obsession is the fastest path to mastery. Society fears obsession. It calls it unhealthy, dangerous, extreme. Sigma males know the truth. It's necessary. Nothing great was ever built by someone who was just interested. Greatness comes from the person who becomes so consumed by the mission that they forget what day it is. And while others jump from goal to goal like tourists, Sigma males dig trenches in one thing until they own it. Multitasking? That's for people who are okay with being average at 5 things. Sigma males would rather be untouchable at 1. They go all in, not because it's easy, because it's the only way that works. Obsession doesn't leave room for excuses. It doesn't care how tired you are. It doesn't allow you to take a break because things got tough. It demands everything. And Sigma males don't fight that. They become it. And here's the brutal edge. Obsession gives them staying power. It's why they never give up. Quitting isn't even on the table when the thing you're chasing has embedded itself into your DNA. It's not just a goal anymore. It's who you are. So while others talk about balance and self-care, the Sigma male is still in the trenches, bleeding for his craft, sharpening the blade, obsessed without apology. And the world wonders why he can't be stopped. Number 6, they don't fight battles, they play long wars. Sigma males aren't in it for the dopamine hit of a quick victory. They don't care about flashy wins or viral moments. Their game is built on long wars, silent, strategic, and slow-burning. While most people chase speed and visibility, Sigma males move with patience that borders on obsession. They think in decades, not days. Their decisions today are crafted to pay off years from now. And that kind of mindset changes everything. They're not competing in the same arena as everyone else. While others are scrambling to win the hour, the Sigma is planting seeds that won't bloom until the next era. They aren't driven by urgency. They're driven by inevitability. When you're playing the long game, temporary losses mean nothing. Setbacks are just brushstrokes in a masterpiece still unfolding. That's why quitting never crosses their mind. How do you quit something that hasn't even finished becoming what it's meant to be? And here's what most don't understand. Long wars aren't loud. They're quiet, invisible, carried out in solitude. While others are looking for validation and applause, Sigma males are in the shadows, building systems, refining strategy, and preparing for tectonic shifts. They're not fighting battles, they're shaping landscapes. That long timeline gives them an edge that's terrifying to most. They're not rushing. They don't need to be first, they just need to outlast you. Because eventually, hype fades, shortcuts collapse, and the noise dies down. And when it does, the Sigma is still there. Calm, consistent, and still moving forward while everyone else is exhausted from sprinting. They understand that anything truly worthwhile takes time, deep time. Relationships, power, mastery, legacy, none of it happens fast. So while others burn out chasing surface-level success, the Sigma male is still quietly building his empire brick by brick. When you think like that, giving up isn't even on the radar. Because how do you give up on something that was never supposed to be quick in the first place? You don't. you adapt, you endure, you evolve. That's what playing the long war looks like, and the Sigma male plays it better than anyone. Number 7. They know their bloodline depends on them. Sigma males move like men haunted by ghosts, not in a broken or tragic way, but with a quiet, constant weight on their shoulders that few ever notice. They walk with the burden of legacy. Whether they come from strength or chaos, wealth or poverty, love or trauma, it doesn't matter. They carry the unshakable belief that something must change with them, that the cycle ends here or begins here, that they were put here to break something or build something or both. Even if they have no wife, no kids, no siblings, no close family ties, they still move like they're responsible for an invisible bloodline. They feel the eyes of the past on their back and the expectations of the future staring through the fog ahead. It's not about pride. It's not about ego. It's about duty. A silent, self-imposed vow to make sure whatever pain, dysfunction, failure, or mediocrity came before them doesn't continue after them. This isn't something they talk about. It's not shared at dinner tables or posted online for sympathy. It's just there, burning in the background every day without fail. The knowledge that their grind isn't just about money or success or status. It's about redemption. For names they never met, for children they haven't had, for a legacy that exists only in their mind, for now. And that's what makes their persistence terrifying. They're not just working for themselves, they're working for people who can't fight anymore, and people who haven't even been born yet. They're haunted by, what if I fail? But not because they fear looking weak. They fear letting history repeat itself. They fear passing down the same chains they've had to break with bloody hands and sleepless nights. They don't give up because giving up isn't a personal loss. It's a generational betrayal. And they won't carry that kind of shame, not ever. So they keep going, even when it's hard, even when it's pointless, even when they're alone, because deep down they know they're not just one man. They're the hinge point between what was and what could be. That kind of purpose, it makes surrender impossible. Number 8. They find boredom sacred. Most people run from boredom like it's a curse. The second something stops being exciting, they lose interest. They crave stimulation, novelty, anything to break the silence. But Sigma males, they treat boredom like a temple. It's sacred. It's where the real work happens, the kind no one sees, no one applauds, and no one has the patience for. They understand that mastery doesn't come from adrenaline spikes or motivational highs. It comes from monotony, from showing up every day and doing the same thing again and again long after the thrill has worn off. Most can't handle that. They get bored, distracted, or discouraged when progress isn't instant. But Sigma males lean into the stillness. They know that if you can stay consistent when everything feels flat and uninspiring, that's when you start to separate from the crowd. The boredom most people avoid, that's where Sigma males sharpen their edge. It's not glamorous, it's not Instagram-worthy, but it's real. When others quit because it's not fun anymore, the Sigma keeps going, locked in, emotionless, focused. He's not waiting for motivation to return, he doesn't need it. The routine is the mission. The silence is the teacher. The repetition is the reward. This is why they don't burn out or bounce from passion to passion. They already know the excitement fades. They expect the grind to get dull. But instead of resisting it, they embrace it. That quiet stretch where nothing seems to be happening, that's where their patience becomes power. That's where their discipline turns into something brutal, something rare. And here's the kicker. Boredom breaks most people. Not because it's painful, but because it's empty. And in that emptiness, you're forced to confront yourself. That's where most tap out. But Sigma males want that confrontation. In fact, they thrive on it. Because boredom isn't the enemy, it's the filter. It reveals who's faking it and who's actually built for it. So they don't give up when the fire dims. They settle in. They keep swinging. Because they know the world's not shaped by the excited. It's shaped by the obsessed. The ones who can do the same thing every day, without applause, without dopamine, without noise. The ones who made boredom their altar. Number 9. They know the world only respects completion. Talk is cheap. Ideas are a dime a dozen. Potential? It's just a vague promise that never quite lives up to reality. In the world of the Sigma male, none of these things matter. The world doesn't care about what you could do or what you might become. It only respects one thing: completion, the finished product, the execution, the result. And that's where Sigma males thrive, because they are absolute savages when it comes to finishing what they start. While most people are caught up in the excitement of new ideas, the hype of starting something fresh, Sigma males know the truth. Starting is easy. Anyone can get excited and chase the first burst of inspiration. But when the initial energy fades and the grind sets in, when the long, ugly road of follow-through stretches out before them, Sigma males don't flinch. They don't falter. They just keep going, relentlessly. Completion is the final judge. It doesn't care about your ambition, your intentions, or your dreams. It only cares about what you bring to the table when it's all said and done. And that's where most people fall short. They start, they quit, they leave things half-finished, endlessly working on something but never reaching the end. The Sigma male doesn't waste time with half measures. If he starts something, you better believe it's going to be completed, no matter the cost. No excuses, no distractions. It's not about speed, it's about finishing. He doesn't care if it takes weeks, months, or even years. He finishes, even when there's no applause, no rewards, and no one watching. He's not waiting for validation. He's not looking for a shortcut. He just works and works and works until the job is done. Completion is the only currency that matters to him. In the end, it's this savage commitment to finishing that sets Sigma males apart. The world may be full of talkers, dreamers, and schemers, but the Sigma male knows that only the finishers command true respect. And that's why they don't give up. Because for them, quitting isn't just failing. It's leaving something unfinished, and that's something they'll never tolerate. Number 10. Failure is their laboratory, not a verdict. Failure doesn't scare Sigma males. In fact, it doesn't even faze them. While most people see failure as a personal verdict, something to avoid at all costs or something that defines them, Sigma males see it as a laboratory. To them, failure isn't a mark on their record, it's a tool, a volatile compound that, when handled correctly, can lead to a breakthrough. They don't fear failure. They embrace it, experiment with it, dissect it, and use it to refine their process. This mindset separates them from the masses. Most people fail once and give up, convinced that it's a sign they're not good enough. They treat failure like a judgment, something to fear and hide from. But Sigma males, they study failure. They take it apart and analyze it with the same cold precision they apply to everything else. They break down why they failed, where things went wrong, and what can be done differently. Then they go back, recalibrate, and try again. Failure, in their eyes, is just data. It's feedback. It's not a reflection of their worth or a sign that they should stop. It's a necessary ingredient in the recipe for success. Every mistake, every setback, every misstep is just another opportunity to improve. They don't let their egos get involved because they don't tie their self-worth to their outcomes. Instead, they take what went wrong, learn from it, and come back stronger. This is why they can afford to fail again and again without losing momentum. Failure doesn't crush them, it fuels them. It's like a chemist working in a lab, testing new reactions, noting down results, and always improving the formula. The Sigma male's relationship with failure is experimental, not emotional. It's a step in the process, not the end of the road. In a world where most people are terrified of failing and will do anything to avoid it, Sigma males turn it into their playground. They walk into the fire knowing it's just a part of their journey. Failure isn't a verdict for them. It's an invitation to get better, to adapt, and to push forward until they reach perfection. And that's why they never give up, because failure is just the beginning of the next experiment. Number 11. They burn the boats and the bridges. Sigma males don't entertain the luxury of backup plans. They don't keep an escape route or a just-in-case solution tucked away. The concept of a plan B doesn't exist in their world. When they commit, it's a full throttle, no turning back decision. They burn the boats and the bridges behind them. There's no retreat, no fallback. It's either succeed or evolve, because there's no other option. Most people keep alternatives on standby, ready to pivot if things go south. This gives them a safety net, a cushion that softens the blow of failure. But for Sigma males, that cushion is an illusion. Having a backup plan gives you a way out. And when you have an out, it's easy to quit when things get tough. Sigma males don't give themselves that option. They burn their bridges so thoroughly that the only direction is forward. This isn't reckless. It's deliberate. It's a mental commitment to evolution, to pushing yourself beyond what you thought was possible because there's no alternative. They've put everything on the line, so the only choice they have is to keep moving forward, adapting, and figuring it out. There's no room for complacency, no comfort in falling back. The only way is through, and that's where the power lies. When you eliminate the possibility of failure, when there's no way out, you are forced to grow, to rise, to dig deeper. Sigma males know this instinctively. They don't procrastinate or look for loopholes. They understand that growth only happens when you've eliminated every escape. With no plan B, failure becomes a catalyst for reinvention, not a reason to quit. This is why quitting doesn't even register for them. There's no quit option. It's not even part of the conversation. Every setback, every failure, every obstacle is just another problem to solve. The only real option is to adapt or be consumed by their own refusal to move forward. So when things get tough, Sigma males don't look for a way out. They look for a way through, and they'll keep finding that way because there's no other option. Number 12. They're more afraid of regret than defeat. For Sigma males, defeat is nothing more than a temporary setback, a bruise, a lesson, a reminder that they need to evolve. But regret? That's a whole different beast. Regret is the one thing they fear more than failure. It's a wound that never heals, a scar that embeds itself into the soul and stays with you long after the battle is over. It lingers in the corners of the mind, whispering about what could have been, what should have been. And for a Sigma male, that's a fate far worse than defeat. They know defeat is a part of the game. Losing is inevitable at some point. Every champion has fallen. Every successful person has tasted failure. It's just another piece of the journey. But regret? That's a stain on your character, a reminder that you didn't give it everything you had, a reminder that for some reason you chose to walk away when you could have fought harder or longer or smarter. Sigma males can't live with that. It's not the defeat they remember. It's the moments when they didn't push hard enough, the times they hesitated, the times they didn't show up when they should have. That's what eats at them. That's the weight they can't carry. To them, regret is an eternal reminder of potential left untapped, of opportunities squandered because of fear or doubt. So while most people worry about failure, the Sigma male is terrified of not trying, of looking back years later and realizing they didn't give their absolute best because they were afraid of failure or discomfort. The thought of living with that regret is enough to drive them forward, even when everything else tells them to stop. They would rather crawl through fire than face a life where they didn't fight, didn't push, didn't burn everything they had into their pursuit. That's why quitting is never an option for them. It's not about the risk of losing. It's about the crushing, gnawing certainty that they'll never forgive themselves if they walk away with unfinished business. To Sigma males, regret is far more dangerous than defeat. They'd rather lose and learn than live with the haunting reminder that they could have been more. In a world filled with excuses, distractions, and the constant lure of comfort, the Sigma male stands as a relentless force of nature, an individual who refuses to accept mediocrity, defeat, or the safety of the sidelines. They are the ones who embrace the chaos, endure the grind, and burn the bridges behind them. They don't quit because quitting is not in their vocabulary. To them, failure is just another lesson. Regret is a scar they refuse to bear, and every challenge is merely another opportunity to evolve, not retreat. Sigma males understand that true power doesn't come from avoiding the storm, it comes from thriving in it. They turn their darkest moments into laboratories for growth and transform obstacles into stepping stones. While others falter, distracted by the noise, they stay focused, their eyes set on the end goal, not the applause, not the validation, but the satisfaction of completion. They are the ones who, no matter how many times life knocks them down, rise again with more resolve, more wisdom, and more fire. This is why they never give up, because for them, surrender is the only real defeat. And as long as they are alive, as long as they can take one more breath, they will keep moving forward. Their persistence isn't born from some false belief in boundless energy, but from a deep-seated understanding that they are the authors of their story, and they won't let anyone or anything decide its ending for them. In the end, the Sigma male doesn't just survive the game of life, he masters it through relentless will, unshakable focus, and a refusal to settle for anything less than his best. He forges a path that others can only admire from the sidelines. And so, no matter how hard the road gets, no matter how many times he falls, you'll never hear the Sigma male say, "I quit." Because for them, quitting isn't an option, it's a choice they'll never make. If you've found value in this message and resonate with the relentless spirit of the Sigma male, then don't miss out on more content like this. Hit that subscribe button, like this video to show your support, and drop a comment below. Let me know your thoughts, your experiences, or even your own stories of never giving up. I'd love to hear from you. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, share it with them, because we all need a reminder that quitting is never an option. Stay relentless, keep pushing, and as always, keep evolving. Catch you in the next one.